everybody! My name's Ariel, and I've come to read you a story. In fact, it's my story. It's the story of The Little Mermaid. Under the sea, merfolk hurried towards King Triton's palace. Everyone wanted to get a good seat for the concert. The merfolk watched as Sebastian, the court composer, signaled to the music to begin. 6 of King Triton's daughters sang and swirled around the stage to the sounds of the underwater orchestra. Tonight, King Triton's youngest daughter, Ariel, would sing her first solo. But she was nowhere to be seen. Ariel had forgotten all about the concert. She and her friend Flounder were swimming around a ship nearby. Ariel loved looking for things from the human world. "It's wonderful!" she cried, when she found a shiny fork. "I wonder what humans use this for?" she asked. Ariel and Flounder were so focused on their new treasure that they didn't even see a shark who was lurking around the ship. Flounder thought he heard something, and then he spotted a large shape swimming right towards them. "Shark!" he yelled. The 2 friends swam out of the shipwreck as fast as they could, but the shark could swim faster. Ariel whisked Flounder through a small hole in the anchor. The hungry shark tried to follow them and got stuck. "Take that, you big bully!" Flounder said. After she was sure that they were safe, Ariel brought her new treasure up to Scuttle the seagull. "This is a dingle hopper," explained Scuttle, combing his feathers with the fork. "Humans use it to straighten their hair." Deep below the surface, Ursula the sea witch was gazing into her magic bubble, spying on Ariel. Suddenly, Ariel remembered the concert. She hurried home to find King Triton waiting for her. He was angry about the ruined concert, but even angrier when he learned of Ariel's trip to the surface. "You are never to go to the surface again," he ordered her. Later, the king told Sebastian, "Ariel needs supervision, and you are just the crab to do it." Later, the king told Sebastian, "Ariel needs supervision, and you are just the crab to do it." Meanwhile, Ariel was daydreaming in her secret grotto. "I don't see why such a wonderful world can make things that are so bad," she said. Ariel looked up and saw the shadow of a ship overhead. She swam to the surface to get a closer look. She didn't realize that Sebastian was following her. When she reached the surface, Ariel saw a handsome young man on the ship, and the other humans called him Prince Eric. Suddenly, storm clouds gathered overhead. "Hurricane a-comin'!" a sailor shouted. Howling winds tore at the sails, and huge waves tossed the ship into jagged rocks. Prince Eric was flung overboard and into the ocean. Ariel swam quickly to his rescue and pulled him towards the shore. "Look, he's breathing!" cried Ariel. She gazed at Eric and fell deeply in love. Then Ariel sang to him. At last he began to awaken. "Someday I'll be part of your world," she said. But hearing a voice in the distance, Ariel quickly slipped back into the water and behind a nearby rock. Minutes later, the prince's servant, Sir Grimsby, found Eric lying alone on the sand. A girl rescued me," said the prince, "and she had the most beautiful voice." Ariel watched sadly as Eric's servant led him away. When all the humans were out of sight, Ariel swam home. Sebastian had seen everything, and it was not long before King Triton learned that Ariel was in love with a human. Determined to teach his daughter a lesson, King Triton stormed into her secret grotto and destroyed all of her beloved human treasure before swimming away, leaving Ariel alone. Heartbroken, Ariel sat down and wept. Above her, two sinister eels emerged from the shadows, and the little mermaid looked up. "Don't be scared," they hissed. "We were sent by someone who can make all your dreams come true. Ursula has great powers." "The Sea Witch?" gasped Ariel. She knew Ursula was King Triton's worst enemy, but Ariel thought this could be her only chance to win Prince Eric's love. The eels brought Ariel to Ursula, and the Sea Witch was willing to help Ariel in exchange for her voice. "But," Ursula added, "the prince must fall in love with you by sunset on the 3rd day. If not, Ariel would change back into a mermaid and become Ursula's slave forever." The ocean churned as Ariel's voice was captured inside a magical shell, and her tail turned into legs. Moments later, Ariel was on the seashore, a human at last. Prince Eric had been searching everywhere for the beautiful voice who had rescued him. He had almost given up hope when he noticed someone sitting on a rock on the beach. This girl looked familiar, but when he found she could not speak, Eric realized that she obviously wasn't the one. Feeling sorry for the voiceless girl, he led her back to the palace. They enjoyed being together, and Ariel was sure that the prince was falling in love with her. Later that evening, when they were boating on a lake, Eric bent forward to kiss Ariel, but at that very moment the boat was overturned by Ursula's eels. Ursula hatched a plan to keep Eric from falling in love with Ariel. She turned herself into a pretty girl named Vanessa, and she wore a shell containing Ariel's voice. That evening, the prince heard someone singing, "Ah, ah." It was the voice of the girl who saved him. Eric looked out to see Vanessa and fell under the wicked spell. Eric led Vanessa to the palace, and the next day announced that they were to be married. The wedding ship was to be at sunset. Ariel and her friends watched in despair as the sun lowered in the sky. Aboard the wedding ship, Vanessa cackled. "Ah, ah, ah! Triton's daughter will be mine." Looking through the porthole, Scuttle saw the mirror reveal that Vanessa was actually Ursula. He quickly found Ariel. "The prince is marrying the Sea Witch in disguise," he exclaimed. "Find a way to stall the wedding," Sebastian yelled, and Scuttle took off to rescue Eric. Flounder helped Ariel along, but the sun was starting to set. There wasn't much time left. Scuttle and his bird friends went ahead and did their best to interrupt the wedding on the ship by flying at Vanessa. In all the commotion, the magic shell shattered on the ground just as Ariel reached the ship. "Eric!" cried Ariel. "You can talk," said the prince, who was also released from his spell. "You're the one. It was you all the time." Happy at last, Prince Eric leaned over to kiss Ariel, but seconds before their lips met, the sun set. "You're too late!" shouted Ursula, turning into a beastly self. Ariel was turned back into a mermaid. "Don't worry, dear. It's not you I'm after," Ursula told Ariel, whisking her into the sea. "I've got much bigger fish to fry." At those words, King Triton appeared. "Ursula, stop!" he thundered. "No, she's mine now," cried the Sea Witch. Ursula told him about the deal that she'd made with Ariel, and Triton felt that he had no choice. And in return, for his daughter's freedom, the king agreed to take Ariel's place. "At last it's mine!" Ursula laughed, placing Trident's crown on her head and taking his trident. Using her new powers, Ursula grew into a monstrous size. "Now I am the ruler of the ocean." Just then, a sharp pain shot through her arm, and it was a harpoon thrown by Eric. He had come to rescue Ariel. The sea witch swelled with anger, and using her powers dragged up ancient shipwrecks from the ocean floor. Eric scrambled on board one of the decks, and somehow he reached the ship's steering wheel. Using all of his strength, he aimed at the ship directly at Ursula. And with a terrible scream, she disappeared under the sea. All at once, the ocean was calm, and King Trident's power was restored. Now he realized how much Eric and Ariel really loved each other. With a flourish of his trident, the Sea King granted Ariel her dearest wish, to be human forever. Overjoyed, Eric and Ariel rushed into each other's arms, and a few days later, the couple were married. They invited all their friends and the mermaids to the wedding, and King Trident gladly gave Ariel and Eric his blessing, knowing that they would live happily ever after. And that is my story. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.